I went from being overweight, spending hours on my couch, being the queen of procrastination, and never actually reaching any of the goals I would set for myself, letting time slip away until I hit rock bottom and decided enough is enough. I realized the quality of my life, or at least the poor quality at the time, was the result of my daily habits. And after discovering the habit secrets that I will share in this video, I've been able to lose weight, pick up better habits, and live a more fulfilling life. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact blueprint I used to build healthy habits, grow your confidence, and get as much done to live a happy and successful life and to do more of what you actually love. I'll also be breaking down the game-changing book Atomic Habits into practical steps that will help you build better habits, stay focused, and actually see long-term results. Make sure you stay to the very end of this video because this blueprint has taken me 5 years to master, helping me graduate as a pharmacist, lose weight, and start my journey as an entrepreneur while working full-time. Before I start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Antoinette and I am a pharmacist working in South Africa. And whilst working full-time as a pharmacist, I thought even though I had bagged my degree, I wanted to reach even more goals and achieve financial independence. But at the time, I had no idea how unhealthy and unproductive my life was. So I realized I had to take control of my life and that no one was coming to save me. I started looking for evidence-based habits that could completely turn my life around and give me the true fulfillment I was looking for. So if you are an ambitious girly looking for evidence-based ways to the problems that you and I encounter the most, then make sure you click the subscribe button just down there and the notification bell so that you'll never miss a video. So let's get into the video. First, we need to look at setting the foundation for habit transformation. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is the most important step in building any healthy habit. To do this, you need to focus on identity and not goals and outcomes. And so what I mean by this is that you want to focus less on a list of goals that you want to achieve, but rather on who you want to become. Your identity can be defined as what you believe about yourself, and getting this clearly defined is the most effective way to change a habit. To put it practically, you need to decide on the type of person you want to become. For example, let's say you want to become a reader, then you are going to prove this and reinforce this new identity to yourself by small wins such as consistently reading, for example, 10 pages a day. Now, the next foundational step is to make the unconscious conscious. This means starting the process of behavior change with awareness. And with that, to effectively build new habits, we need to get a handle on our current habits. Now, I'll be honest, this might be a bit of a challenge at first because a lot of our habits are non-conscious and automatic. However, a pro tip here would be to create a list of your daily habits. For example, you could write down that you wake up, check your phone, take a shower, get dressed, eat breakfast, and so on. Once you have a full list, you are going to score your habits. To do this, you are either going to write a positive, negative, or neutral sign next to the habit based on whether you feel it has a net positive, net negative, or a neutral effect on your desired life and identity. During this process, there is no need to rush or change anything. Your goal is simply to observe your thoughts and actions and to notice what is actually going on without any judgment. So it's almost like you are watching someone else. If you binge eat, simply notice and document that you are eating more calories than necessary. If you are excessively scrolling on social media platforms, notice that you are wasting your valuable time away. To help you with this, I have created the Ultimate It Girl Habit Tracker, which you can download for free using the link in the description of this video. Now let's look at the science of how habits actually work. At the backbone of every habit, there is a 4-step framework called the 4 laws of behavioral change. And this is the ultimate blueprint that you and I are going to use to get our desired outcomes. The first step of the habit blueprint is to make habits obvious. What this means is we want to plan beforehand when and where we are going to implement our new behaviors. This is what researchers call implementation intention. This could look like saying, I will exercise for 1 hour at 5 p.m. at my local gym. A second way we can make a habit obvious is habit stacking. Now, you may have heard of this term before, but all it is tying a desired behavior into something that you already do each day. Your morning routine habit stack might look like: after I make a cup of coffee, I will immediately grab my gratitude journal and write 5 things I'm grateful for that day. You also want to make your new habits obvious in your new environment. For example, if you're trying to go to gym, take out your gym clothes and pack your bag the night before, making it likely that you're going to go to gym the next morning. So moving over to step 2 of the habit blueprint is making a habit attractive. In this step of the blueprint, we want to learn how to make our habits irresistible. We can make a habit more attractive by using a concept called temptation bundling. For example, if you say, for instance, you want to scroll on Instagram in the morning when you wake up, but you also want to go to gym in the morning, you could say to yourself, first, let me do a 15-minute workout. Then as soon as I'm done with my workout, I can check my Instagram. Another approach to making it attractive, which I actually found quite interesting, hinges on the evolutionary fact that as human beings, we tend to adopt habits that are praised and approved by others because we desire to fit in and earn respect and approval of our peers. Therefore, we follow habits in culture without thinking or questioning. For example, if most people in your close circle or even people in your social media who you admire go running on Saturday morning or are part of a running club, you could be inclined to start running or join a running club too. So, in a nutshell, if a behavior gets us approval and respect, as well as likes on Instagram, we find it attractive. On to step number 3 of behavior change, we want to look at how we can take a habit and make it easy. Have you ever thought about losing weight but spend more time on watching videos of how to lose weight and how to eat healthier than actually hitting the gym? The two ideas sound very similar, but they aren't the same. Planning and strategizing are all good things, but they don't produce the results and can quickly turn into procrastination. Action, on the other hand, will produce results. And that is the first takeaway of making a habit easy. You need to actually start repeating your desired habit. By repeating the habit, not only do you make your behavior more automatic, it also leads to a clear physical change in your brain, and the connections between neurons in your brain start to strengthen. Now, you could be asking yourself, how long does it actually take to build a new habit? But really, how we should be looking at it is how many repetitions are required to make a habit automatic. When I started playing piano, I remember asking my piano teacher how long it would take me to get good at playing the piano. And her response to me was, it's not how much time that passes by that matters, but how much you actually practice. Because think about it, 21 days could go by and you practice like twice a week, you wouldn't make much progress. But once I started practicing for 30 minutes every day, I started seeing noticeable improvements in the way that I play. So the key for this step is that frequency and not duration is what makes the difference. But back to making a habit easy, as humans, we naturally gravitate towards the option that requires the least amount of work. So it's so important that we make a habit that we're trying to achieve more convenient or as easy as possible so that you'll actually do it even when you don't feel like it. One of the easiest ways to do this is to practice environmental design. Examples of priming your environment could look like setting out your gym clothes, shoes, and bag ahead of time or the night before, or choosing a gym that is on your way to work instead of in an area that is out of your normal route. Two other interesting concepts I read about in the book regarding making habits easy were the 2-minute rule and gateway habits. This idea refers to how starting a new habit should take you less than 2 minutes to do. So if your ultimate goal is to become a reader, reading before bed each night can be scaled down to 2 minutes, and the gateway habit becomes reading 1 page every night. Even though studying 1 page sounds weird and like nothing to be hyped about, the point here is that you are actually mastering the art of showing up for yourself and doing the habit that you're trying to achieve. Now let's move on to step 4 and the final step of the blueprint: make it satisfying. We as humans are likely to repeat a behavior when it is satisfying. This is because pleasure teaches the brain to remember and repeat behavior that is exciting. Knowing this, when you are initially trying to get a habit to stick and feel successful, you need to have some form of instant gratification, at least in the beginning. It helps to maintain motivation while you are waiting for long-term rewards. Practically, let's say you are trying to spend less. Each time you pass up the opportunity to buy something, transfer that money into a savings account, maybe called travel savings, for example, and treat yourself to a trip when you have saved enough. In that way, you are able to get an immediate reward from the behavior, making it satisfying when you do it. And so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other topics that you'd like me to cover about habits, productivity, and behavior change, let me know in the comments and I'll put it in the next one. Bye for now.